Okay. So we are talking about, okay, I hope the screen is visible. Now we are going to study about the chapter 18, not 16, sorry, 18, that is body fluids and circulation. So what are we going to study in this chapter? In this chapter, we are going to study the blood and its components and circulation, how blood is being circulated in our body. So when we are talking about circulation, so we will be talking about blood vessels as well as heart and the diseases related to heart and other circulatory systems. So this is the subtopics what we are going to study of this chapter. Coming to NEET point of view, so you will be getting 5 to 6 questions. So you can expect at least 30 marks from this chapter. Okay, 30 marks you can expect easily. Now let's start with the first component, that is blood and its components. So what is hematology? Now what is hematology is study of blood. So the person who studies about blood, the study about the blood is known as hematology. So now we are doing hematology because we are studying about the blood. The word poiesis, hemopoiesis, means formation of blood. So how is blood being formed? In the formation, the process of blood being formed is known as hemopoiesis. Remember, any word you see poiesis means formation. Okay. So blood should have been formed from some cells. Now, how did blood come into our body? They should have been formed from some kind of cells. Now, let's see from where did the blood form. So we have hemopoietic tissue. Hemopoietic tissue matlab mother of blood. So these are the tissues which gave rise to blood. So there are 4 hemopoietic tissues in different part of our life cycle. These 4 are the ones which give rise to the blood. Now consider when we were embryos, matlab when we were in our mother's womb, like 1, 2, 3 months old. That time, yolk sac, you all know in the egg there is yolk sac. So yolk sac was the one which gave rise to blood. So yolk sac was the one which helped in the blood formation in the embryos. Okay. So in the embryo, yolk sac was the one which helped. So when the baby started growing, 1 महीना हो गया, 2 महीना हो गया, 3 महीना हो गया, जब 5 महीने का बच्चा होता है ना, पेट में 5 महीने का, तब उसके बॉडी में you can see liver formation. When the baby is 5 months old in the mother's womb, pregnancy is 5th month. In the 5th month of pregnancy, you can see the formation of liver. When liver is formed, it will take over the blood production. So next, post-embryonal stage, who takes over the blood production? Liver. Now, baby is out. Okay, delivery ho gaya. Now baby is out. For at least till 1 year, 1.5 year, all the bones in the baby's body, all the bones in the baby's body will have bone marrow inside it. So these bone marrows will take over the production of blood in us adults. We don't have bone marrow in all the bones. We have bone marrows only in the long bone marrow. Long bone marrow matlab long bones matlab kya? Thigh wala bone. Thigh bone is known as femur. Femur bone. Upper arm, biceps ka bone. Okay, we call it as radius. So this bone mein blood formation happens. Okay, so blood formation happens over there now, only in long bone marrow. So now our thighs, for our rest of the life, the thigh bone and the biceps bone are involved in the blood formation. Okay, that's why if you donate blood to somebody, you will be replenished back. How does the replenishment happens? This replenishing thing happens through the bone marrows. Bone marrows will produce the blood. Okay. So these are the tissues which are involved in blood formation. Next, we will see how much amount of blood is there in our body. Whether you're 6 feet, 7 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, anything, any height you are. Everybody has about 5 to 6 liters of blood in our body. Okay. And the pH of the blood is always alkaline. It is slightly alkaline. Alkaline, basic रहता है. 7.4 रहता है pH. Color of the blood क्या है? सब लोगों को पता है हमारा खून लाल है. Okay? इस लाल में भी from today you have to ask, if anybody asks what is the color of your blood, you have to say, are you asking in arteries or are you asking in veins? So blood differs in arteries and veins. In arteries, blood is bright red in color. Why bright red in color? Arteries में ना oxygenated blood blood में oxygen रहेगा, इसीलिए इसके वजह से it is bright red in color. In veins, blood is dark red in color. So you'll be having dark red blood because carbon dioxide is there in the blood. Got it? Did everybody understand this slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please write down and let me know once it's done.
Ma'am, done.
Okay, others? Okay, fine. Next, let's study about the, everybody finished, right? Anybody still writing? Okay. Next, let's study the components of the blood. If you take your blood and put it in the centrifuge, and if you put it in the centrifuge, and if you centrifugate it, you can see that blood is divided into 3 parts. Okay, actually I can say 2 parts. No, I'll say 3 parts. They are divided into 3 parts. Upper, the solution will be plasma. Middle, there will be buffy coat of leukocytes, matlab WBC and platelets. Down, there will be erythrocytes. So plasma, buffy coat or platelets, yeah, with erythrocytes. So these are the 3 components of the blood. First one is plasma. So 55% in our blood, in our blood, 5 to 6 liters blood we are having. In that 55% of the component is plasma. 5 से 6 लीटर है ना, उसमें से 55% of the blood is plasma. Okay. These leukocytes, WBC and platelets, उस 5 से 6 लीटर में से just less than 1% total blood we have buffy coat. And erythrocytes constitutes 45% of the blood. Clean it. Okay, so you need to write this one also. How much percent? They ask questions. So 55% is blood, and less than 1% is total blood, and erythrocytes 45%. Okay, so now when we see plasma, water is in the plasma, 90 to 92% is water. Okay, 90 to 92% is water in plasma. Proteins, we have plasma proteins, which is about 6 to 9%. Okay. And in the plasma, what do you find? You find nutrients, you find gases, you find waste, salts, hormones, heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulating agent. What does anticoagulating agent does is, देखो, body में blood is in the form of liquid है ना? कोई body, why in our veins or in our blood vessels, blood is in the form of liquid. Solid क्यों नहीं बनता? Even though you are in a freezing temperature, 0 degrees Celsius, -5 degrees Celsius, kuch bhi ho, blood is always in liquid. Why? Because of this heparin. Heparin doesn't allow the blood to clot inside our body. This is a very important component. इसी की वजह से we won't be getting brain hemorrhage, your clots in the blood will be protected because of this heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulating agent. मतलब ये blood को clot, body में clot करने से बंद करता है. लेकिन जब वो अभी एक you got a wound, that time blood oozes out, and after some time blood becomes a clot. How does it happen? क्योंकि heparin है ना, heparin जब oxygen, when it comes in contact with the oxygen in the air, heparin gets inactivated. इसीलिए blood clot होता है. हमारे body के अंदर oxygen is present inside the hemoglobin, बाहर नहीं. That time heparin is active. And we also have clotting factors. Clotting factors are the ones which prevent from loss of blood. Bleeding se bachata hai. And they are always inactive inside the blood. Jab bhi, whenever this is like when heparin becomes inactive, when it is exposed to oxygen. Whereas clotting factors becomes active when it is exposed to oxygen. I'll repeat. Heparin is active inside our body. But once it comes out of a body and when it is exposed to oxygen, heparin becomes inactive. Whereas clotting factors are inactive inside the body, but when it exposes out to the external oxygen, it becomes active. Okay? So heparin and clotting factors are antagonistic to each other. What are formed elements? ये बहुत important है. Formed elements are all the cells. तो ये leukocytes, platelets, erythrocytes are the cells of the blood. तो blood cells को हम बुलाते हैं formed elements. You can also divide blood into 2 components, plasma and formed elements. And can you repeat the function of heparin? Okay. Okay, Christabel, listen to me. What does heparin do is, in our blood, in our body, inside our body, blood is completely liquid, right? If from your head to toe, it is completely liquid. So it is a fluid. So why is it fluid in nature? Why you don't find clots everywhere? Only in some circumstances you'll be finding clots. Okay, some people will be having some health issue. Why there is no clots in your blood? It flows from head to toe without any obstruction. The reason is heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulating agent. Now, what does anticoagulating agent do is, it is going to stop clotting inside the body. Internal clotting it is going to stop. When you get a wound and when your blood oozes out, that time heparin is exposed to oxygen. When heparin gets exposed to oxygen, it becomes inactive. When it is inactive, it is no more anticoagulating agent. It is not stopping, it is not preventing it is not preventing the blood from clotting, whereas the blood clots. And clot hona chahiye, hai na? Blood has to get clotted. Otherwise, you'll start losing the body. Jo bhi 5 to 6 liters blood you have in your body, everything is lost. That's why there is the clot formation. Okay? So did you understand? Simple thing is heparin ka function. Heparin prevents clotting inside the body. Got it, Christabel? Christabel, did you get? Were you there when I was explaining, Christabel? Okay, did you understand? Okay, fine. What are formed elements? Formed elements are nothing but leukocytes, platelets, erythrocytes. So you can write down Buffy code. You can write down over here. Leukocytes, platelets, and erythrocytes. Okay. So yeah, I want you all to draw this picture also. Just expand this picture also. I want to draw, and the percentage is very important. 55% of the blood is plasma, less than 1% is WBC and platelets, and 45% is erythrocytes. That's very important. Whole slide is important. Please do it.
Ma'am, can you please explain clothing factors again?
Clotting factors. It's not clothing, clotting.
Sorry, clothing.
Yeah, here also is a mistake. Okay. So what does clotting factors do is, so see, who asked the question? Gauri asked, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happens is, see, whenever you have a wound, right? So blood oozes out for some time. After some time, what happens? After some time, the bleeding stops. How does the bleeding stops? It is because of this clotting factors. So they seal the wound. Okay, the whole mechanism we'll be studying in the we have this whole mechanism how it happens. But for now, just understand what does the clotting factor do. Whenever you have a wound, for some time blood oozes out, and later it stops oozing out. Who is preventing that? That is the clotting factor. So clotting factors will stop excess bleeding. Okay, bleeding is stopped by the clotting factors. Understood? Inside your body they are inactive. Okay, because सोचो कि गौरी inside your body clotting हुआ, सोचो कि ये blood vessel है. Wait, I'll just show you. This is a blood vessel और blood ने clot कर दिया. Blood clotted over here. यहाँ पर clot हो गया. And this is the important organ. Kidney पे this blood was going to the kidney. It was taking nutrients to the kidney. अभी यहाँ पर clot हुआ. So अगर clot हुआ तो आने वाले blood को problem है ना? Blood will never reach to the kidney. Agar blood won't reach to the kidney, kidney will die. That is why clotting factors are inactive inside your body. Only when you get a wound externally, तब active हो जाए. समझ में आया गौरी?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I told you there is proteins in the plasma, no? How much percent of proteins are there in plasma? In plasma, 6 to 9% of the plasma is made up of proteins. Okay, 6 to 9% of plasma is made up of proteins. Now, let's see the proteins in the plasma. So, there are three types of proteins in the plasma. First one is the clotting factors, ये वाले. ये clotting factors जो हमने लिखा ना इधर. This is the protein. It is a protein. क्या है नाम उस protein का? Fibrinogen. So this protein is the one which doesn't allow you to bleed excess. So fibrinogen is the protein. Prevents excess bleeding. लिखा हुआ है देखो clotting. और एक protein है जिसका नाम है globulins. These are circular protein like this round they are. And we call them as gamma globulins. Okay, one of them is gamma. There are many alpha, beta, gamma hai, but we are stressing on the gamma globulins. ये गामा ग्लोबुलिन्स का क्या बनाते हैं पता है? ये है एंटीबॉडीज. सो दे आर द वंस विच प्रोड्यूस एंटीबॉडीज. जो भी हमारे बॉडी में एंटीबॉडीज है ना, एनी वायरस और एनी बैक्टीरिया अटैक्स, एंटीबॉडीज आर प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द बॉडी ना. सो दिस एंटीबॉडीज आर मेड अप ऑफ गामा ग्लोबुलिन. एंटीबॉडी इज व्हाट? इट इज अ प्रोटीन. सो ग्लोबुलिन प्रोटीन से बना हुआ है. Another protein we have albumin. So albumin protein egg में भी होता है, अंडे में भी है ये albumin protein. So ये क्या करेगा? पानी में osmotic balance, मतलब water balance. Water कितना रहना चाहिए? Blood shouldn't be completely liquid. पूरा it shouldn't be completely liquid or it shouldn't be completely thick. It maintains that. वो एक उसका एक कंसिस्टेंसी है, वो कंसिस्टेंसी albumin मेंटेन करेगा. इट मेंटेन्स द कंसिस्टेंसी ऑफ द ब्लड. इट शुड बी टू पतला या फिर टू गाढ़ा. Okay, it should be in between. So that is maintained by albumin. That is known as osmotic balance of the blood. Okay, so these three proteins. 6 to 9% of the plasma contains these proteins. Yeah, right now. Okay. So next we are going to study about formed elements. In formed elements, first we'll be studying about RBC. First is RBC. Okay. So RBC constitutes 45% of our blood. एक minute. Okay, but 45% of our blood. Okay. So what do? They carry fresh oxygen. What is the function of the RBC? They carry fresh oxygen through the body and removes carbon dioxide. Because RBC के अंदर ना there is a structure known as hemoglobin. Inside RBC, this is RBC. Inside RBC, there is hemoglobin. Okay. So inside RBC, there is a component that is hemoglobin. So that binds to the oxygen and it transports oxygen to each and every part of our body. Okay. So that is done by hemoglobin. Not only that, it also binds with carbon dioxide and it goes to the lungs and removes the carbon dioxide out. So RBC makes about 40 to 45% of the blood. This is first component of RBC. Second component is platelets. So it is the part of the body in immune system. So it is going to act in the immune system. So they detect and fight against viruses and bacteria. There are 5 major types of WBC. We'll be studying about this. And they make less than 1% of our blood. So WBCs make about 1%. So these are the 5 kinds of WBCs. We'll be studying this. So they fight. They are for fighting against viruses, bacteria, pathogens. Next is platelets. Form clots to stop the blood. Sometimes you might have seen when you have a wound, after the bleeding of the blood, after bleeding stops, it will be very sticky. If you touch that place, it will be very sticky. It sticks to your hand. Okay, like you feel like there's some glue over there. Why it is sticky? It is because of this platelets. So platelets have come to that place. Agar yahan par, if you have a wound here, this is a wound. Consider this is a wound. Platelets will come and just block this place. They will just block this place, cover like this. And they will avoid the blood to flow out. This is what they are doing. And they are very sticky. Okay, then this also constitutes less than 1% of our blood. Okay, so these are the 3 formed elements. Okay, right. Aniket is done. If others are done, please put it in the drop in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. We are done.
Okay. Okay. So this Pune batch is completely from Nigiri batch.
Yes, ma'am.
No other batches that
No.
FC. No, nobody from there.
मैम उधर के ब्रांचेस बंद हो गए.
मतलब नीट के लिए या पूरा?
पूरा बंद हो गया.
पूरा बंद हो गया.
अच्छा, तो बच्चे थे ना उधर, सब निगिरी आ रहे हैं तुम लोग?
हाँ, लेकिन नीट के लिए सिर्फ बच्चे निगड़ी में ही थे.
अच्छा, नीट के लिए बच्चे. व्हाट अबाउट आईआईटी?
एफसी वाला वो भी बंद हो गया. क्लास ही बंद हो गया उधर का.
ओके. और एक था ना, कहाँ पर था? कोई मॉल में था.
पिंपरी सदागर.
इंटरेस्ट होता है तो पूरा बंद हो गया.
पिंपरी का भी बंद हो गया. ओ, अभी सिर्फ निगिरी में ही है, चालू है मास्टर क्लास.
यस
हाँ,
मैम.
वो ट्रेन ज्यादा है ना उधर. वो पिंपरी सौदागर और एफसी रोड में बच्चे बहुत कम थे, इसीलिए बंद कर दिया.
ओके. गौरव सर आते हैं अभी? नहीं.
नहीं,
ओके. तो रोहित सर ही पढ़ाते हैं फिजिक्स.
रोहित सर भी नहीं है अभी, सिर्फ विशाल सर है.
रोहित सर नहीं है?
नहीं है.
मतलब वो तो हेड है ना?
नहीं, वो अभी छोड़ के गए. कुछ फैमिली प्रॉब्लम्स थे उनको, तो वो छोड़ के बैंगलोर शिफ्ट हो गए.
कहाँ शिफ्ट हो गए?
बैंगलोर से बोल तो रहे कि बैंगलोर चले गए वो.
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक. अभी सर क्या पढ़ा रहे हैं तुम लोगों को?
कौन से?
बायो सर.
अभी वो बायोमोलिक्यूल्स चालू करेंगे.
ओके. सेल हो गया.
हाँ,
हो
हो
गया.
गया. आज ही खत्म हो गया.
ओके, क्योंकि यहाँ क्रिस्टबल का सेल नहीं हुआ है.
खत्म कर दिया.
Okay. So whatever chapters I am doing for her, you all will be also going through it. Okay. तो
Okay.
इसके बाद हम लोग ना we'll be doing anatomy of plants, जो chapter 6 है. Then you have to update your sir what and all chapters I am doing. Okay. Clash नहीं होना
ओके
चाहिए.
मैम.
सर को
Okay.
बोलो डाइजेशन करने के लिए, क्योंकि क्रिस्टबल का डाइजेशन हुआ है इधर.
ओके.
Okay. इसके पहले का chapter, that is chapter 16, has been completed for Christabel. So I don't think I'll be repeating that. So you all tell sir digestion नहीं हुआ है, ma'am is starting with body fluids. Okay. So how is my procedure going is एक zoology, एक chapter botany. मतलब बोर नहीं होना चाहिए. I know nobody is interested with botany. बहुत बोरिंग होता है, लेकिन
हाँ.
reason I'm creating a balance. We'll be doing one chapter zoology, one chapter botany, one zoology, one botany, like that.
ओके मैम.
Okay. Fine.
ओके. फाइन.
So you have to update your sir what chapters have been done and what new chapters he is doing. Also let me know.
ओके मैम.
Now we will see RBC. Okay. What is RBC? RBC is a form element. Okay. So RBC is a formed element. इसको हम और एक नाम से बुलाते हैं, उसका नाम है एरिथ्रोसाइट्स. साइट्स मतलब ब्लड. एरिथ्रो इज द कलर. एरिथ्रो मतलब रेड कलर. सो आरबीसी इज व्हाट? रेड ब्लड कॉर्पसल्स. एरिथ्रो मतलब रेड कलर एंड साइट्स आर सेल्स. सो दीज आर रेड कलर सेल्स. So in adult, where does erythropoiesis? Erythropoiesis का मतलब poiesis. What did I tell you? Poiesis means formation. Hemopoiesis मतलब blood formation. Erythropoiesis मतलब RBC formation. So easy it is to remember. Okay. Hemopoiesis is blood formation and erythropoiesis is RBC formation. So it occurs in red bone marrow. So if I draw the bone, वो पिक्चर इतना ठीक नहीं है. So if I keep, ये हमारे long bones है ना, it is like this. This is our thigh bone. I'm just drawing. ऐसा रहता है bone. Bone में two types of bone marrows are there. With in white. You will see two types of bone marrows. Will be two types of bone marrows. If I consider this as the bone, There are two types of bone marrow. एक यहां से यहां तक you will see yellow bone marrow. What color you will see? Yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone. Thanks, Vard. Broken bone this is. And the one what you see over here, यहाँ ऊपर के पार्ट में है ना,
वो क्या है?
हाँ बताती
ओके
ओके ये ऊपर वाला दिस इज द these are the red bone this is red bone marrow. So on the top surface you have red bone marrow. इसी red bone marrow से बनता है RBC or S. Okay, RBC is produced from this bone marrow. Now, how is RBC produced in this bone marrow? Bone marrow के अंदर बनता है RBC. For RBC to form, we always require some stem cells. No, मतलब कोई एक जैसे plants में देखा है हम लोग मेरिस्टेमेटिक सेल से बनता है permanent tissue, permanent cells, है ना? इसीलिए हमें भी animals में we need a cell. It's a precursor cell. Precursor cell मतलब उससे आते हैं cells. So the precursor cells which are present inside this red bone marrow are known as pluripotent homopoietic stem cells. What are they known as? Pluripotent मतलब वो कुछ भी बन सकते हैं. Okay, so this is pluripotent homopoietic stem cells. Okay, ये याद नहीं रखना है. Remember, जो RBC का precursor है वो है proerythroblast. Okay, RBC's precursor is proerythroblast. If you all can't see, I'll just make it little bigger. Okay, so this is proerythroblast. It is also known as wait a second. So it is also known as pronormoblast. Okay, you can call it as proerythroblast. ये कहाँ रहता है? RBC के अंदर, इसके अंदर, bone marrow के अंदर. They have written over here. देखो bone marrow. This is RBC production. How is RBC production happen? So we are studying about it. Erythropoiesis कैसे होता है? So ये proerythroblast कहाँ रहता है? यहाँ पर, red bone marrow में. This one transforms itself. It changes into another cell that is known as erythroblast. ये भी कहाँ होता है? Bone marrow में. So there are some cells. There are some cells. ये है proerythroblast. ये change होकर बन गया अभी erythroblast. Erythroblast में तुम्हें एक न्यूक्लियस दिखेगा. You can see a proper nucleus with cell organelles. थोड़ी टाइम के बाद erythroblast is going to lose its nucleus and some cell organelles and it turns into reticuloblast. Erythroblast क्या बन जाएगा? ये येलो कलर का erythroblast ये बन जाता है. It is going to lose its nucleus and organelles and it becomes a reticuloblast, reticulocyte. Okay, usually spends 3 days. ये reticulocyte 3 days bone marrow में रहेगा उसके बाद बोन मैरो से ब्लड में जाएगा, ब्लड, इट गोज टू द ब्लड वेसल्स, फ्रॉम द बोन मैरो इट गेट्स इनटू द ब्लड वेसल्स, यूजुअली स्पेंड 3 days इन द बोन मैरो एंड 1 day इन द ब्लड। एक दिन वो ब्लड में रहेगा, रेटिकुलोसाइट्स विल बी एज in the blood. After 1 day, reticulocytes are going to transform into, it is going to transform into a proper RBC, erythrocyte. रेटिकुलोसाइट एरिथ्रोसाइट बन के ऑक्सीजन ट्रांसपोर्ट करेगा, और ये एरिथ्रोसाइट्स का लाइफ स्पैन इज 120 days. कितने डेज? 120 days. ओके अब ये रेटिकुलोसाइट को एरिथ्रोसाइट बनने के लिए, रेटिकुलोसाइट को एरिथ्रोसाइट बनने के लिए वी नीड टू ईट वेरी न्यूट्रिशियस फूड. Like what kind of nutritious food? हमारे खाना, if enough food, if our food is rich in vitamin B12 and folic acid plus iron, our food should be rich with vitamin B12, folic acid and iron. This is the one which converts reticuloblast to reticulocyte to erythrocyte. Okay, only erythrocyte is functional. Reticulocyte is not functional. It cannot carry oxygen. Only erythrocyte can convert function. Okay. So, who converts reticulocyte to erythrocyte? This is very important. Vitamin B12, folic acid, and iron. I'll again repeat. Vitamin B12, folic acid, iron converts reticulocyte to erythrocyte. I'll again talk about erythropoiesis, how it happens. So, in our bone marrow, there is a cell known as proerythroblast, which converts itself into erythroblast. Erythroblast and proerythroblast both have nucleus, cell, organelles, everything. It is like a normal cell. Okay. Erythroblast will lose its nucleus as well as its organelles inside the bone marrow, and it converts into reticulocyte. Reticulocyte doesn't have nucleus and organelles, and it is inactive. It cannot fix oxygen. It stays for 3 days in the bone marrow and 1 day in our blood vessels. In our blood vessels, if we eat nutritious food like vitamin B12, folic acid, and iron, our reticulocytes will convert into erythrocyte, which is functional RBC, which can fix oxygen. Okay. And the lifespan of oxygen is 120 days. Did you understand? Did everybody understand this? So,
yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Huh. What happened?
Ma'am.
Huh. I can't hear you, Varun.
Ma'am, can you explain
Could you type?
रेटिकुलोसाइट से यूरोसाइट से वो उतना वो ब्लड का
Hi, could you type it? Because your
मैम वो लास्ट पार्ट एक्सप्लेन करोगे क्या ब्लड
समझ
वाला
में आया, तुझे क्या चाहिए वो टाइप कर लो, बिकॉज तुम्हारा वॉइस है ना, so better type it.
ओके मैम
Okay. Now look at the erythrocytes ka structure. I don't know why I can't pull this down.
मैम वो ब्लड वाला पार्ट एक्सप्लेन करोगे क्या
हाँ फिर से करोगे, 1 मिनट. ओके, ये एरिथ्रोसाइट है ना, नॉर्मल आरबीसी। ए मेच्योर आरबीसी डिस्कॉइडल शेप होता है, इट विल बी डिस्कॉइडल, डिस्क शेप्ड होता है, और इसके अंदर न्यूक्लियस नहीं रहेगा, देयर इज, इट इज ई न्यूक्लिएट, ई न्यूक्लिएट मतलब नो न्यूक्लियस, एंड उसके अंदर कोई भी ऑर्गेनल्स नहीं रहेगा। आरबीसी के क्या अंदर क्या रहेगा, व्हाट इज इनसाइड आरबीसी? इनसाइड आरबीसी देयर इज ओनली हीमोग्लोबिन। इनसाइड आरबीसी, आरबीसी क्या है? एक प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन है, एंड इसका पूरा आरबीसी क्या
हीमोग्लोबिन।
है? हीमोग्लोबिन, कुछ नहीं, न्यूक्लियस नहीं है, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया नहीं है, गोल्गी apparatus कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ काली है, सिर्फ हीमोग्लोबिन है। ओके, तो ये मेच्योर आरबीसी शेप क्या होगा? डिस्कॉइडल शेप होगा, ई न्यूक्लिएट होगा, एंड देयर वोंट बी एनी ऑर्गेनल्स। ओके, शेप ऑफ द मेच्योर आरबीसी इज डिस्कॉइडल। ओके, हाँ वरद, हाँ, रेटिकुलोसाइट्स, रेटिकुलोसाइट्स, हाउ आर रेटिकुलोसाइट्स फॉर्म्ड इज, देखो हमारे बोन मैरो में एक स्पेशल सेल्स आते हैं जो है एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट। एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट सेल एक नॉर्मल सेल जैसा ही है, उसके पास माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया है, गोल्गी apparatus है, न्यूक्लियस है, सब कुछ है। ओके, तो वो रेटिकुलोसाइट बनने के लिए इट विल लूज इट्स न्यूक्लियस, देखो उसने अपना न्यूक्लियस लूज किया, और सम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनल्स इट इज गोइंग टू लूज, some organelles like Golgi apparatus, ribosomes it is going to lose, और वो बन जाता है एरिथ्रोसाइट्स। ये रेटिकुलोसाइट्स, वो बन जाता है रेटिकुलोसाइट्स। ये रेटिकुलोसाइट्स 3 दिन बोन मैरो के अंदर रहेगा और 1 दिन ब्लड वेसल में रहेगा। ब्लड वेसल में अगर तुम्हारे खाने में विटामिन B12, फॉलिक एसिड, आयरन सब कुछ है, इफ यू आर हैविंग अ स्क्वायर मील मतलब अ बैलेंस्ड मील, okay, then definitely in your body vitamin B12, folic acid, iron will be there. जब ये सब है, ये सब material, these all components are there, your reticulocytes will lose some organelles, some remaining organelles. ये कहां पर होता है? ब्लड में होता है। रेटिकुलोसाइट बोन मैरो से आ गया ब्लड में, ब्लड में अगर तुम्हारे बॉडी में ये, अगर तूने ये सब खा लिया, तो ये रेटिकुलोसाइट्स बदल कर बन जाता है एरिथ्रोसाइट्स। Erythrocytes are functional RBC, so they are going to do the proper transport of carbon dioxide and oxygen. समझ में आया वरद?
यस मैम, अभी समझा।
Did everybody understand? I think this chart explains very well. Bone marrow में क्या रहेगा? प्रो एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट से एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट, एरिथ्रोब्लास्ट है रेटिकुलोसाइट, रेटिकुलोसाइट ब्लड के अंदर जाकर इट कन्वर्ट्स इनटू एरिथ्रोसाइट। तो ये सब कन्वर्जन के लिए इतना कंपोनेंट्स चाहिए, नेसेसरी। इफ यू डोंट ईट दीज कंपोनेंट्स, तुम क्या बनोगे? अनेमिक बनोगे, क्योंकि खून नहीं है, ये है खून, दिस इज द वन, दिस इज आरबीसी, दिस इज द वन व्हिच इज मेकिंग यू मेकिंग ऑल योर सेल्स टू गेट ऑक्सीजन। ये इन नॉन फंक्शनल है, ये इसको, इफ रेटिकुलोसाइट हैज टू कन्वर्ट इट टू एरिथ्रोसाइट, you require these components, so you need to have a balanced meal. Got it? Okay.
डन मैम।
डन मैम।
याद था।
मेरे बायो की बुक कब देगा बे?
हाँ कल दे दूंगा।
नोटबुक भी तेरे पास है, टेक्स्ट बुक भी तेरे पास है।
नहीं नोटबुक नहीं है, सिर्फ बुक है, देखा ना।
नोटबुक भी है यार, ऐसा मत बोल। डन मैम।
Okay, let everybody finish.
धीरे धीरे लिखते हैं।
Okay, setting is left. We are going to see the counts of RBC. So you know lifespan of a erythrocyte or RBC is 128 days. उसके बाद वो कहाँ जाता है? स्प्लीन में जाता है. स्प्लीन कहाँ पर है? हमारे स्टमक के पास है. स्प्लीन. Okay? We call spleen as a graveyard of RBC. तो वो क्या करेगा? स्प्लीन RBC ऐसा रहेगा ना, दिस इज RBC, उसके अंदर रहेगा हीमोग्लोबिन. सो स्प्लीन ये आरबीसी के बाहर वाले सेल मेम्ब्रेन को ना डिस्ट्रॉय करेगा और ये हीमोग्लोबिन को भेजेगा किसके पास? लिवर के पास. ये हीमोग्लोबिन को भेजेगा किसके पास? लिवर के पास. इट इज गोइंग टू पास दिस टू द लिवर. This is going to the liver. Liver में what is going to happen? You have studied in your digestion. Right, Christabel? We have done in digestion, no? What happens to the hemoglobin in the liver? Getting converted into bile pigments. Yes. So, you'll be studying what happens to the hemoglobin in the liver. Okay. So, spleen is just removing this membrane. ये बाहर वाला membrane को digest करेगा. कभी-कभी spleen क्या करेगा? If you are losing a lot of blood, no? Spleen acts like a blood bank also. It also acts like an emergency blood bank. वो खून देने में help करेगा. If you are losing more blood, so spleen जो मरने हुए RBC को ना, it is going to send it. Body needs you. Don't die now. I am not going to degrade. So it will be sending it. So we call it as emergency, acts like a blood bank. Now we will see the count of RBC. Normally, male have more RBC because testosterone in the male have this hormone. Testosterone is a hormone. Testosterone induces bone marrows to produce more RBCs. Okay, it induces this process. Erythropoiesis is being induced by testosterone hormone. That's why male have more RBC. 5 to 5 million mmQ. Male have RBC. Female RBC is little less because female do not have testosterone. So it is 4 to 4.5 million per mmQ. Okay. एबनॉर्मल कंडीशन में अगर मेल या फीमेल का आरबीसी इससे कम हुआ, इफ इट इज लेस देन दिस, देन वी कॉल दैट द पर्सन इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम अनीमिया, मतलब एरिथ्रोपीनिया। एरिथ्रोपीनिया का मतलब क्या है? आरबीसी कम है। कभी कभी क्या होगा, किसी का काउंट इससे ज्यादा है, 5.5 से ज्यादा है या फिर 4.5 से ज्यादा है, देन वी कॉल इट एज पॉलीसाइटीमिया, मतलब इंक्रीज इन आरबीसी। आरबीसी का फंक्शन क्या है? ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ गैस। डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
टेल मी।
मैम वो स्पिलिन कहाँ पे होता है प्रेजेंट? ग्रेवयार्ड ऑफ
प्लीन,
आरबीसी।
प्लीन ना, पैंक्रियाज है ना,
हाँ,
उसके पास रहता है।
उसके पास क्या?
उसके पास ही रहता है। आई शो यू।
ओके।
See, near the pancreas and stomach, can you see? This is spleen. ये है
ओके मैम।
स्प्लीन,
हाँ दिख
यहाँ
रहा।
रहता है। लिवर यहाँ पर है, तो वो प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन, आरबीसी का प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन को यहाँ पर मार के हीमोग्लोबिन को लिवर के पास भेजेगा।
ओके मैम।
We are going to study the next formed element, that is leukocytes. Okay, next formed element what we are going to study is leukocytes. Okay, so this leukocytes or WBC, white blood corpuscles. Okay, these are soldiers of body, soldiers of our body. Matlab, they protect us. They are the defense mechanism. They protect us from getting attacked by pathogens. So their count is 6,000 to 8,000 per mm cube. So their count is little less. Okay. So next we will see what is the process of production of WBC. Process of production of WBC is known as leukopoiesis. Abhi red bone marrow erythropoiesis se you saw that the red bone marrow gave rise to erythrocytes. These yellow bone marrow are there, no? The yellow bone marrow gives rise to leukocytes. So leukocytes are developed from yellow bone marrow. The production happens over there. So we have two types of leukocytes. So if you see the picture over here, you can see over here we have two types of leukocytes. जिसके अंदर ऐसा dots है, we call them as granulocytes. You can see the dots. So these three are granulocytes. These three are granulocytes. और जिसके अंदर ऐसे dot नहीं है, we will say they are agranulocytes. These are known as gray granulocytes. So this is granulocytes. These are agranulocytes. Okay. So in granulocytes, three types of granulocytes are there. First one is neutrophil. Second one is eosinophil. And third one is basophil. Neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Okay. Look at neutrophils. इसके अंदर वो ये कलर का दिखता है ना, this purple color thing, this is the nucleus. उसके न्यूक्लियस इज मेनी लोब्ड. देखो 1 2 3 4 लोब्ड है. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई कॉल इट एज मल्टी लोब्ड न्यूक्लियस. इसी की वजह से बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स न्यूक्लियस ओनली वी कॉल इट एज पॉलीमॉर्फोन्यूक्लियर ल्यूकोसाइट. पॉलीमॉर्फो मतलब मेनी लोब्ड न्यूक्लियस. पॉलीमॉर्फोन्यूक्लियर ल्यूकोसाइट्स. इसके ग्रैन्यूल्स जो डॉट्स है ना, डॉट्स में क्या है? डॉट्स में एसिड और बेस का ग्रैन्यूल्स. इसीलिए इसका नाम न्यूट्रोफिल. एसिड प्लस बेस विल न्यूट्रलाइज द सॉल्यूशन, नो? इसीलिए इसका नाम न्यूट्रोफिल्स. ओके. इसका काम क्या है? दे आर फैगोसिटिक इन नेचर. मतलब अगर एक पैथोजन आया, अगर एक कोई पैथोजन बैक्टीरिया या कुछ आया, ये वहां पर जाकर खुद जाकर इट इज गोइंग टू फाइट विद इट एंड इट इज गोइंग टू एनगल्फ इट. एनगल्फ मतलब वो खा जाएगा उसको, बैक्टीरिया को खा जाएगा. सो जब भी तुम्हारे बॉडी में फर्स्ट टाइम पैथोजन आएगा ना, ये फर्स्ट जाता है. तो द फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस मतलब तुम्हारे बॉडी में जब भी पैथोजन अंदर आया तो फर्स्ट कौन फाइट करेगा? न्यूट्रोफिल्स आर गोइंग टू फाइट. ओके. फर्स्ट सेल फॉर फैगोसाइटोसिस, ये पहले जाएगा खाने के लिए पैथोजन को. उसके बाद आएगा इओसिनोफिल. इसका नाम इओसिनोफिल, इओसिन क्यों आया? क्योंकि अगर एक स्टेन है, एक डाई है इओसिन, इफ यू एड दिस स्टेन to this or to this cell, it gets that color. वो stain को absorb करेगा. If you add eosin stain to this cell, ये वाले cell को, it will absorb that color. इसीलिए इसका नाम, we gave its name through that dye. Look at its nucleus. How many lobes are there? 2 lobes are there. So it's a bilobe nucleus. And whatever the red color structure you can find over here, no, these granules, these are acidophil, acid-filled granules. Inside the granules, they are acid. So, अगर ये ना allergic reactions cause करेगा. Now you are allergic to mushroom. So when you eat mushroom, इसका concentration body में बहुत बढ़ेगा. So your yellow bone marrow will secrete eosinophil. अगर you are allergic to some paint smell, तो तुम्हारे body में तुरंत इसका concentration बढ़ेगा. ये उस एलर्जी को सोचेगा वो पैथोजन है और उसके साथ फाइट करेगा. नेक्स्ट इज बेसोफिल. बेसोफिल इज दिस वन. इट इज एस शेप्ड. सी, इट इज ऐसा एस शेप्ड. एस जैसा दिखेगा नहीं, लेकिन कंसिडर करो दिस इज एस. ओके, सो दिस इज एस शेप्ड. बेस, सो इसके ग्रैन्यूल्स में क्या है? बेसिक ग्रैन्यूल्स. इसका एसिडिक था, इसका एसिड प्लस न्यूट्रल था. सो ये ब्लू कलर स्टेन लेता है. इट इज सेक्रेटरी इन फंक्शन. क्या सेक्रेट करेगा? बेसोफिल्स आर द वंस हु इज गोइंग टू सेक्रेट हेपारिन. हेपारिन देखा था ना प्लाज्मा में, एंटीकोगुलेटिंग एजेंट. हेपारिन सेक्रेट करेगा. हिस्टामिन सेक्रेट करेगा. हिस्टामिन क्या करेगा? बॉडी में स्वेलिंग्स, इन्फ्लेमेशन. अभी चोट लगी, यू गॉट अ हर्ट, इन्फ्लेमेशन आया. किसकी वजह से इन्फ्लेमेशन आया? बेसोफिल्स वेंट ओवर देयर एंड सेक्रेटेड हिस्टामिन. दैट कॉजेस इन्फ्लेमेशन. सेरोटोनिन. सेरोटोनिन क्या करेगा? ज्यादा सूजन से बॉडी को प्रोटेक्ट करेगा. ज्यादा सूजन हुआ तो दर्द होगा ना, so that is why it is going to reduce the swelling. Serotonin. So doctors के पास कभी कभी if you have inflammation or swelling in your body, they apply some cream to it. So when you apply that lotion or a cream ointment, it will reduce it will reduce your inflammation. उस ointment में serotonin रहेगा, which is going to reduce the inflammation. So it is anti-inflammatory. Okay. नेक्स्ट इज अबाउट ए ग्रैन्युलोसाइट्स. ए ग्रैन्युलोसाइट्स में दो ही है, मोनोसाइट्स एंड लिम्फोसाइट्स. मोनोसाइट्स ये ना साइज में बहुत बड़ा है. देखो सबसे बड़ा है मोनोसाइट. दिस इज द लार्जेस्ट WBC. इसका न्यूक्लियस इज किडनी शेप्ड न्यूक्लियस. इट इज गोइंग टू हैव, ये भी फैगोसाइटोसिस है. अगर पैथोजन इससे भी बड़ा है, बड़ा वाला पैथोजन आया, तो ये क्या करेगा? बहुत सारे मोनोसाइट्स ऐसे ज्वाइन होकर बना देंगे. Many monocytes will join together and together they will join together, fuse together to form macrophage, and then they will encounter the pathogen. अगर पैथोजन का साइज बहुत बड़ा है, monocytes cannot kill it, they will fuse together, साथ में आकर बना देगा बड़ा स्ट्रक्चर जिसका नाम है macrophage, and then they are going to kill the organism. Next is lymphocytes. This is the smallest shape. देखो largest WBC, smallest shape, लेकिन इसका न्यूक्लियस बहुत बड़ा है. देखो every nucleus is very big, बहुत prominent nucleus है, and less cytoplasm. देखो बहुत कम cytoplasm. ये क्या करेगा? ये एंटीबॉडीज प्रोड्यूस करेगा. इट प्रोड्यूसेस एंटीबॉडीज. ओके, नाउ एग्जाम में पूछते क्या है? एग्जाम में पूछते क्या है? दे विल आस्क यू दे आर काउंट. इनके काउंट पूछेंगे. सो काउंट किसका ज्यादा होता है? दिस इज इन द डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर. रिमेंबर द निमोनिक नल मैप. तो ज्यादा काउंट किसका है? न्यूट्रोफिल्स. उसके बाद आएगा हाँ, ज्यादा काउंट है न्यूट्रोफिल्स. न्यूट्रोफिल्स के बाद आएगा लिम्फोसाइट्स. लिम्फोसाइट्स के बाद आएगा मोनोसाइट्स. मोनोसाइट्स के बाद आएगा एसिडोफिल्स, मतलब इओसिनोफिल. उसके बाद बेसोफिल. बेसोफिल सबसे कम. सो ये 1% है ना. WBC इज 1% ऑफ अवर ब्लड. उसमें से 60 to 66% इज न्यूट्रोफिल्स, 18 to 20% is lymphocytes, 6 to 8% is monocytes, 2 to 3% should be eosinophil, and 0.1% is basophil. Now sometimes इनका count ना vary होता रहता है. When you are normal, this is the normal count they should. अगर तुम्हारे body में if you are sick मतलब you have been attacked by the pathogen, that time their concentration increases, their number increases. That's the reason कभी कभी तुम लोगों को if you are having too much fever and even without paracetamol or even doing anything, it is not going, so doctor will tell you एक blood test कर लो. He will tell you to do DLC मतलब differential leukocyte count. उस काउंट में जब ब्लड टेस्ट करोगे रिपोर्ट में आएगा ये इतना है, they will come to know. उस काउंट में से डॉक्टर विल सी कौन सा WBC इज मोर. उसके बाद डॉक्टर विल से अच्छा तुम्हें तो ये पैथोजन अटैक हुआ है एंड ही विल गिव यू मेडिसिन एंड यू बी फाइन. सो DLC बताएगा ये ईच वन काउंट बताएगा DLC. और एक टेस्ट है TLC, दैट इज टोटल ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट. ये टोटल में तुम्हें बताएगा कितना ल्यूकोसाइट्स. अभी तुम्हारे बॉडी में बोलेगा 6000 to 8000 है. अगर 10,000 है देन यू हैव सम इश्यू. ओके, अगर कम है देन योर बॉडी इज नॉट फाइटिंग. So total leukocyte count tells you only the total number of WBC. Differential leukocyte count is going to tell you each WBC का count. Okay? Abnormal conditions क्या है? Leukopenia. कभी कभी penia का मतलब क्या है? Decrease. Decrease in leukocytes. मतलब तुम्हारा body is not fighting. Leukocytosis मतलब increase. इनका count increase हो गया. Leukemia मतलब blood cancer. Blood cancer में क्या होता है? किसी भी एक WBC, either neutrophils, eosinophils, basophil, monocytes या lymphocytes, किसी भी एक का काउंट ना एकदम से बढ़ेगा. Simply it goes on increases. That is known as leukemia. Leukocytosis मतलब total WBC increase. Leukopenia मतलब total WBC decreases. Leukemia मतलब किसी भी एक का काउंट बढ़ेगा. Okay? Did you understand this? Please write down. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
So next we are going to study about platelets. So what is the other name of platelets? The other name of platelets is thrombocytosis. Now, what does the word thrombus mean? Thrombus means clot. Okay. Thrombus means clot. Give me a second. Clot. And platelets are involved in blood clotting. So whenever blood oozes out of our body, first thing platelets do is stop the blockage of blood. So formation of platelets happens in a red bone marrow. So red bone marrow along with RBC, platelets formation also happens in red bone marrow. Okay. The process is known as thrombocytopoiesis. The process is known as thrombocytopoiesis. So platelets will be like this. When platelets are formed, it is like a big cell. And these cells, since they are big, we call it as megakaryocytes. This is the cells. What happens? These cells will break down into small pieces. This cell will break down into small pieces, and they form the platelets. They are irregular shape. Platelets do not have a shape. Okay, and they do not have nucleus, enucleated. They are very sticky. That's why I told you, soon after, if you get a wound and after the blood stops flowing, if you touch your wound, it is very sticky. Why is it sticky? It's because of platelets. Okay, and they are very delicate. Even that place where you have wound, no, if you scratch a little bit, it just comes out and again the blood flows out. Okay, so it's very delicate and it is sticky. How much should be the normal count in a body? So the count in a body should be from 1.5 to 3 lakh per mm3. Agar is in you might have heard that in dengue disease, what happens in dengue? Platelets count decreases. Platelets counts fall down. From 1.5, it starts falling down. Okay. Abnormal conditions, the fall of platelets. If platelets number decreases, if the fall of platelets is known as thrombocytopenia. So thrombocytopenia is the fall. Anything ending with penia means fall of those cells. Increase is known as thrombocytosis. Now let's see based on number which is more in our body. First, RBC. RBC is more in our body, then comes the platelets, and then is WBC. Can anybody tell me the count of RBC? Normal count of RBC, how much should it be in man or woman? Anyone? Let me see. How much you remember? Tell me the count of RBC and WBC. The normal count.
Ma'am, WBC is 6,000 to 8,000.
8,000. Okay. MMQ per
6,000
mm.
to 8,000.
And RBC is?
RBC for male is 5 to 5.5 million.
Million mm cube, and for women is 4 to 4.5 million mm cubes. Million. After million comes the lakhs and then the thousand. See? Okay. So this decreasing order is very important. So RBC is more in our blood, then platelets, and then WBC. Okay. Please write down. Okay, students, take a 10 minutes break. We will start at 8. Okay.
रौनक भाई क्या दिखा रहे हो?
यार इली पुढे येत
चलो मैम मैम
Yeah, we'll do the class. I had a little headache, so that's the reason I was taking medicine. Okay. Now, liver will make prothrombin with vitamin K. Okay. Now, what is this prothrombin? We will see. Okay. Now we will see the typical blood clotting, how it happens. Just a second. I had a picture of it. Okay. Now we will say the blood. How does a blood clotting of blood happens? Okay, it's over here. Should be like this. Now, coagulation or clotting of the blood. Now, let me tell you, if you have if this is your body, if this is your hand, okay, and this one is your blood vessel in the hand. This is a blood vessel, and you got a slit over here. You got a cut over here. Oh, got it. You got a cut over here, and all the blood is oozing out from the body. All the blood is oozing out. Okay, when the blood starts oozing out, first who comes to the rescue? Platelets come. Platelets come, and what do they do is like as the blood is flowing, no, so they will go and close this place. They will go and seal this place. They are very sticky, no? They stick to one another. They are the fragments. They stick to one another and they will close the wound. So now what happens? The blood flow is stopped. But this is temporary. Still the blood, blood puts pressure on this. When it puts pressure on this, what happens first? From inside the platelets, agar ye platelets hai, did you understand till here? Who first stops the blood clotting? Platelets stop the blood clotting. And this is called as temporary blood clot. ये ना बहुत समय के लिए नहीं, ये तो कुछ ही टाइम के लिए. This is a temporary solution. It's only for some time. Okay, it's a temporary clot by aggregation. उसके बाद क्या हो जाएगा? परमानेंट क्लॉट होना है. हमें तो हमेशा के लिए वो जगह सील करना है ना, when there is a wound. So वो थोड़ी देर के बाद शुरू होगा जब ब्लड ना प्रेशर डालेगा किसके ऊपर? प्लेटलेट्स के ऊपर जब प्रेशर डालेगा, inside the platelets you will find a component जिसका नाम है prothromboplastin. So prothromboplastin is present inside the platelets. I will write it as P T P. Inside platelets there is prothromboplastin. जब प्रेशर आएगा प्लेटलेट्स, ब्लड का प्रेशर आएगा, प्लेटलेट्स टूट जाएगा and your prothromboplastin is out of the platelets. Prothromboplastin is out of the platelets. अभी क्या हो जाएगा? ब्लड में कैल्शियम रहेगा ना, ब्लड में what is there? Calcium is there. इससे पहले परमानेंट क्लॉट के लिए जब भी तुम्हारा ब्लड, ओके, प्लेटलेट्स ने बंद कर दिया, नाउ ब्लड इज एक्सपोज टू व्हाट, ब्लड इज एक्सपोज टू आउटसाइड एनवायरनमेंट, तब क्या हो जाएगा, फर्स्ट स्टेप क्या हो जाएगा, हेपारिन बिकम्स इनएक्टिव बिकॉज उसका ऑक्सीडेशन हो जाता है। पहला स्टेप हेपारिन ऑक्सीजनेट हो जाएगा। उसके बाद व्हेन देयर इज अ प्रेशर ऑन द प्लेटलेट्स, प्लेटलेट्स आर गोइंग टू रप्चर एंड दे आर गोइंग टू रिलीज प्रोथ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन। ये प्रोथ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन कैल्शियम के साथ बाइंड होकर बन जाता है थ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन। Prothromboplastin binds with calcium and becomes thromboplastin. Okay, there is another component called as prothrombin. ये कौन बनाता है, ये बनाता है लिवर। देखो, लिवर मेक्स प्रोथ्रोम्बिन विद विटामिन के, विद यूज ऑफ विटामिन के। जब भी तुम खाना खाते हो, विटामिन के, अगर खाने में विटामिन के है, यू गेट इन सीड्स लाइक सनफ्लावर सीड्स, पंपकिन सीड्स, अगर वो सीड्स खाया ना तो तुम्हें विटामिन के मिलेगा। इस विटामिन के द्वारा, taking this vitamin K, liver is going to make prothrombin. So liver is going to make prothrombin. So prothrombin is in your blood. ये prothrombin is inactive. So thromboplastin plus calcium will convert the prothrombin to thrombin. Okay? और हमने एक प्रोटीन देखा था, प्लाज्मा में एक प्रोटीन था, क्लॉटिंग फैक्टर प्रोटीन। डू यू रिमेम्बर, इन द प्लाज्मा वी सॉ वन प्रोटीन फैक्टर, यहां पर देखा था। प्लाज्मा का एक क्लॉटिंग फैक्टर फाइब्रिनोजन रहता है ना, ये फाइब्रिनोजन इज ऑल्सो इनएक्टिव। थ्रोम्बिन, ये थ्रोम्बिन इज गोइंग टू एक्टिवेट द फाइब्रिनोजन इनटू फाइब्रिन। ये फाइब्रिनोजन ऐसा मेश जैसा रहेगा, इसको ना ऐसे धागे जैसा बनाता है। थ्रोम्बिन क्या बना देगा इसको, ऐसे फाइब्रिन धागे जैसा बनाएगा। ये धागे ना ऐसे ऐसे दे आर गोइंग टू वाइंड अप, दे आर गोइंग टू वाइंड अप लाइक दिस, और जाकर इस जगह पर ना ऐसा मेश बनाएगा। प्लेटलेट्स सब रप्चर हो चुका है, तो प्लेटलेट्स के जगह पर ये ऐसा मेश बनाएगा। It is going to create a mesh, and mesh में जो भी pores है ना, इस जगह पर you will see all the dead cells of the blood, all the dead cells of the blood aggregate on this mesh. All the dead cells of the blood aggregate on this mesh. Okay, and that is the scar. Wound के scar दिखता है ना, this is the scar. When you have a wound, you can see a scar after some days, no? एक दाग रहेगा, एक निशान रहेगा. That is this one. Did you understand? I will again revise. ये बहुत important है. This is a basic thing we are going to study. First, whenever you have a cut, blood starts oozing out of your body. Okay? The blood is the internal blood of your body is exposed to outside environment. So heparin becomes inactive. So पहला क्या करेगा, प्लेटलेट्स आकर वो जगह को ब्लॉक करेगा। दैट इज द टेम्पररी ब्लॉक। ज्यादा दिन तक प्लेटलेट्स नहीं रहेगा बिकॉज प्लेटलेट्स आर वेरी डेलिकेट, तो प्लेटलेट्स रप्चर होगा। प्लेटलेट्स के अंदर क्या था, प्रोथ्रोम्बो, वेट अ सेकेंड, प्लेटलेट्स के अंदर क्या था, प्रोथ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन। प्रोथ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन ब्लड के कैल्शियम के साथ मिलकर थ्रोम्बोप्लास्टिन बना देगा। लिवर एक प्रोटीन सिंथेसाइज करता है जिसका नाम है प्रोथ्रोम्बिन, किसके द्वारा, यूजिंग विटामिन के। सो प्रोथ्रोम्बिन, thrombin is converted into thrombin by thromboplastin plastin. Thrombin converts fibrinogen into fibrin. Fibrin forms a mesh and that mesh goes and fixes at the place where you were bleeding, और उसके ऊपर dead cells गिरेगा, तो ये बन गया permanent clot। समझ में आया how it happens, everybody? Did you all understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now write down this. Write down this sentence. Huh? हाँ वही वही. Answer this soon. Waiting for it. Yes, correct. Aniket. Others? Anybody? This one? Name the blood cells whose reduction in number can cause the clotting disorder leading to excess loss of blood. Which blood cell is that? So the answer should be what? What should be the answer? Nobody's answering. What happened? Thrombocytes, platelets. No, this is the one which is helping in loss of helping us for blood clotting. So thrombocytes is the answer. Okay, this one. Erythropoiesis starts in. Where does it start? Yes, Aniket, correct. Red bone marrow, it is going to start it. Okay. So other questions are here. There are some questions. Yeah, so many. So we'll wind up today for today. Okay, we did a lot. So from tomorrow's class, I will start blood groups. Okay, we'll do blood groups and then we'll be doing the circulation. Okay then. So fine. Okay, so next Saturday you'll be having the class at around 5:30, I guess. So we'll be do at that. Students, night.